Welcome to the Comic Industry Insiders live show. This is not the live show. This is the show before the live show. In fact, I want to bring up a whole bunch of people who are going to help me fill some time and help you come into the room. Basically, what we do every week is we ask our best friends to come in and chat with us while we're talking about comics. I'm going to start. Let's see. The last one to come in is the first one into the live show. Mr. Gabe Yoakum.
How's everybody doing?
They're good. Is that a Coke Zero? Is that what you got there?
Dr. Pepper, zero sugar.
Nice. I like it. All right, great. Mr. Blake Morgan, the man behind ones and twos. I love the Blake Buzz energy you're bringing today. I like that. That's good. As opposed
I'm wired.
The question that I have for Blake is, what kind of hot dog is for lunch?
Oh, all right. This is how, real quick. This is how I've been doing hot dogs lately. I boil them, right? Uh-huh. And while I'm boiling the hot dog, I get a skillet real hot next to it.
Sure.
And then I let the buns. I get like a cookie sheet. Put the buns steam while they're boiling, and then I take the wet hot dogs, throw them in a hot skillet, and the skin bubbles up real quick, and they get kind of crispy. That's the way to cook a dog.
All right. Well, you can't talk about hot skillets without talking to Joe Keating. Hey, buddy.
I don't know how to answer that. Hello.
Bowing to that segue. That was absolute perfection.
Good morning, afternoon.
Good morning. The person who will keep us all going into the afternoon, Miss Megan Marsden. Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good.
Megan, for those of you who don't know, there's absolutely nothing that Prana would actually get done if it wasn't for Megan. So there you go. I'm going to bring in producer Kyle, the man behind the ones and twos often. Hey, buddy. How are you? You got to say something so that when you're recording, they hear your voice, but your microphone's not working. It's a brand new mic.
Microphone died. That was
producer Kyle has a dead mic like that.
Yeah. It's new technology. It literally showed up this morning.
We have a guest on this week's show that we're going to bring in right now, Mr. Django.
Howdy.
How am I doing, my friend?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm good. Kyle said we're not allowed to have a show where we don't talk about your hair. So there, we just did.
Thank you.
You listen. You, Brian, and I have the combined hair of a cue ball. So the fact that Django has any and that it's somewhat stylish needs to be talked about.
It's called a last hurrah. It's not going to be here in a year, you guys.
I'm saying Brian 2 more times, Brian, so that we can invoke him. Mr. Candyman.
It's like a Beetlejuice scenario. I see. I was starting to wonder if I was in this episode, actually.
I don't know. This was a crowd.
Is this how he tells me I'm not the co-host anymore? Oh, okay. No, it makes sense. That's what I would do.
We got the whole Brady bunch for, I guess we need one more. Is that,
we really do.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Gabe, I think that makes you the, oh, no. All right.
Gabe was Alice.
I was Alice, yeah.
You were Alice. You were in the Alice seat. How is everybody this week? Not gonna lie. Right before we got on this show, I was having a meeting with Joe, and actually it was about an hour ago. And I was so grumpy and cranky. He said, "Okay, you have to go take a nap before the show." So I want to say thank you, Joe.
That's the kind of editorial services we provide here.
He was powered by Prana, new meeting.
That's right. We're going to be talking about numbers and data this show, so it's going to be really boring for a lot of people. Anybody want to say something exciting before we get rolling?
Hey, is anybody else excited about this Hellblazer omnibus that DC announced today?
What?
What is it?
Yeah. They're putting out everything from essentially everything, all 4 years, like 1,300 pages or so, $150, but like, I read those books in 94, 95, and it kept me in comics for 2 or 3 years
100%.
when I probably wouldn't have been reading them.
Yeah. That was, I have every appearance of Constantine until he entered the DC universe. And then
that's cool.
Oh, so this is the Paul Jenkins and
The Paul Jenkins, Sean Phillips. Yeah.
Oh, that's
A lot of that stuff's like long out of print, right? Like it's almost impossible to find at this point.
Do y'all know about the urban legend around John Constantine or John Constantine? I'm not sure which it is. Do you know about this? That apparently every writer of that series has some sort of story where a blonde man in a long like a raincoat is smoking cigarettes and staring at him in the middle of nowhere. Like it's like they've all had a sighting.
That's amazing.
I don't know if it's true or not, but you know.
Press.
Do what?
That's issue 3 of A High Strangeness from Oni Press.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
It also,
Men in Black.
ironically, could be Hunter Goranson. So that's because I think the number of us who have been stared at as he smokes and just it's, hey buddy, are you out there?
But no, I love those stories because they're like real life, like the Silence from Doctor Who or the Men in Black stories that you hear. You know.
Yeah,
it's everybody who's ever written Constantine has had these. Like, yeah, you're right. It's crazy. But
this is a spooky episode.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
well,
it
it is Halloween week. We're supposed to be scary this week.
That's right.
So I totally picked this up for like for a little. I know it's not the comic, obviously, but
yeah.
And he's been doing press saying there's like a new script and they're trying to get the movie going. I would wonder if this mystical like image that these creators are seeing, like I wonder if the people who worked on the movie were haunted by that too. It'd be interesting to look
Yeah,
at.
but he wasn't blonde.
It was actually just Hunter Goranson. It wasn't.
There's Jenna Coleman though in the series we don't talk about.
Yeah.
She's Joanna.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. The series that will not be named. It does make you wonder if you do all of the Hellblazer stories, how many of those writers have been canceled? Big. Sorry.
Oh,
He cursed him.
it's a surprising percentage.
Next week on True Stories of the Comic Industry.
I have the second season of the series that will not be named up on, and it teases me every time I log into that certain streaming service. And I really want to watch it, but like I am so morally opposed to it. But the first season was so good, so good.
This is how I did it because it's one of my favorite stories. Regardless of what has happened with the writer, I still love Mike Drinkenberg and I still love Sam Keith.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're still getting paid. So
That's fair.
or their estates are still getting paid. So
Wait,
There
Sam
you go.
Keith isn't dead, is
Sam
he?
Keith is still around. Right?
they're
Yeah,
people.
He's refusing to. We are hopefully he changes his mind. But I know somebody who went to him about a gig recently, and he said, "Nope, I'm retired."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Keith did. Sam Keith.
We get a lot of young people coming into our store looking for Sam Keith comics lately. Like we sell the Max constantly. It's wild. To like 25-year-olds.
That's really interesting.
I wonder if we could do a feature story on Sam Keith. Am I looking at Joe Keating while I say that? It's hard to tell.
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We have 4 more minutes. I don't know if you guys in the audience realize this, but this is all unscripted. This right here, we didn't rehearse any of this.
I didn't make a deck for this beforehand.
I have a quick question for the retailers in the audience.
I thought this was the script. Isn't this a script?
What a tease! What a tease!
Sometimes
Retailers
you
in the
have to
audience
do things because they're cool. Gabe,
Yeah, come on.
Batman Deadpool, the DC version was on FOC this week. I'm just curious from our retailers, did they go heavier on that than the last time, or did they go lighter? Chime in the comments. See how
we have one retailer. We
got at least 2. I see Tommy and Jeremy are there.
Yeah.
I don't do the ordering in our store, but I think we went a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Even though I think it's $1 more, right?
It is, yeah. And like it's got the cardstock covers, which are $1 more than that. So like they're $8.99 US, which is I don't know, $1,000 Canadian.
We sold out of the first one.
There were no incentives. Everything was open order.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so weird.
the shop I was in yesterday, I was helping them go through some of this stuff, and their lunar order, just because of the one book, was 3 times what it normally would be.
Yeah.
Woo!
See, that was another thing I was going to ask people. Like, I've actually noticed my both lunar and PRH orders have been a little bit lower this last month or so. And I'm a little worried about what that's going to mean towards the end of the year. This week wasn't even, even with how heavy I went on that title, it wasn't like around, it was about $200 lighter than what my average order is usually.
Huh.
There's just not as much, especially number ones coming out in this back half of the year. There's a lot of 2s and 3s, but there's very, very little in terms of number ones.
Well, it's typically how it works, though, right? You don't want to launch anything in November, December, or really January, February, if you can help it, unless you're going counter to everybody else. Right?
That's what kind of makes that ironic, right? Is like it's almost a, and then you also don't want to launch anything in the summer, which is weird.
Yeah. So really,
you got 3
Just
weeks.
stop making comics.
You got 3 weeks.
Fall are really the sweet spots for most launches, but
Makes sense.
But you also, but if you are looking to try and get some attention during the period where everybody else has gone to sleep, then because the problem is that most of these bigger companies are in corporations. Corporations take most of December off.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. There's no way you can mock it. You can, try and schedule around it, but they don't want to. They want to go home, So
Does everybody else say a series number 2 when the second one comes out, or is that just in our store?
At number 2,
your store.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
At number 2, the bed. Is that what you're saying?
No, just number 2. Like number 2 came out.
Oh,
Yeah, you can number 3 also.
It dropped a deuce.
Somebody should save comics. That's all I'm saying.
We're trying to save comics.
So many people trying.
Comics with data. That's a really good opportunity for us to hit the live button and go live.
You're welcome.
Got us
I
out
think
of
it's
there.
time to save comics. That's my
It's
2
not the
o'clock
poop joke.
time.
All right.
Let's go, Blake.
We're going.
Well, hello again. For those of you who are around for the pre-show banter, my name is Adam Freeman. This is Comic Industry Insiders. I work at Prana Direct Market Solutions. We do this every week where we talk about the big headlines that are happening in comics. This week, we're going to be talking about data, which is a rock and roll good time. So every time I say the words rock and roll, I can't help but think about my co-host, Mr. Brian Garside of Managed Comics, the rockinest Canadian I know.
If I had 10 more seconds, I would have like reached over here, just But
I'll pull out my uke. Well, we'll do a duet. What do we say? We'll go. Okay.
No, let's
I knocked over the stand.
I'm not plugged in.
How you doing, buddy?
How you been? How's your week been?
Busy, very busy. We came back from Baltimore with 1,000 things on the list and only time to do, half dozen. So it's been a time, but things are good. Things are it's all good problems to have, I think, which, as you like to point out, are still problems.
Still problems. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going through 1,000 good problems to have right now myself.
Mm-hmm. I feel you a lot. This week
Plus,
we're talking about
the end of a quarter and stuff. Like, there's all kinds of taxing things to do. It's crazy.
I think the quarter ended a month ago.
Yeah, but we have to file all our stuff a month after the quarter ends.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, that's I guess that makes sense. I have a guy who keeps me on track with that stuff. Sometimes I feel for him.
Yeah,
not the part of the business I'm the best at, but yeah,
same. Here's my shoebox. Figure it out. That's why I pay you.
Hang on a second. Let me go through my photos. I know I have that receipt somewhere.
Yeah.
This week we're talking about one of our favorite things: data and bros. We got bros
saving
talking about
comics.
data, and we're gonna save comics with it.
We should have had the Data Bros logo on there. That would have been great.
We couldn't get Figley. Figley's on his way to Japan or something.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to be talking about data. We are going to be talking about how the shops are doing. We're going to get into detail. We've actually talked about it a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to get into some detail as to why they're doing so well. And we just wanted to use this opportunity to, not skim that surface that we've had that actually people have been reporting on, and really kind of dig into what people are seeing in the shops. If you are a shop, and I'm looking at you, Jeremy and Tommy, always in our chat, I would love to hear what your year has looked like so far, because what we're hearing has been all really wonderful, and it's always fun when you get to report on good news. Good news is just more fun than bad news. Yeah, but speaking of news,
allegedly.
Oh, speaking of news, you were both hit the goddamn button. Every week, we as a crew, you all saw Megan in the pre-show banter. Megan does the lion's share of the work and waits for me to do an essay, which I sometimes phone in, for the Piranha Bullet, where we talk about what's happening in the comics shops, in the comics industry, and publishers and distribution, and all of the other pieces that fit together. If you'd like to go to piranhadm.com right this very second, you could log in. You could sign yourself up for the newsletter, and we'll send it out every Friday. Thank you, Blake, for putting that link up. Make it real super simple on everybody.
Can we just talk about last week's Genius article, which I believe, or bullet, which I believe was Megan write something up for here. It's great. It was great. That was so good.
Yeah.
I once did a managed comics campaign where I created a fake intern who created a campaign and sent out a series of emails. And the third email was like, please click this button before I get fired because Brian just found out about this. And people actually forwarded my own email to me and said, Brian, are you aware of this thing? And I'm like, yeah, it's me, you goofs. Of course I know about Ian the intern. I'm him.
Remind me someday when I've finally gotten through my whatever agreements I have to get through, to tell you about a little guy named Bobby who we won't mention right now, but yeah. Oh, Bobby.
Someday I'm going to show you a Facebook account I have that you'll really appreciate once you see it.
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh, excellent. All right, let's get into some hard-hitting headlines and where Blake comes up with these pictures. I guess we'll never know.
It's a good one.
This week I think it was actually pretty quiet, although we had a couple of big media moments. And I'm gonna be real honest. Both of these came up in the deck, and I went, "Oh yeah, I think I heard something about that." So you're gonna have to be the informed one, and we're gonna have to pull somebody out from behind to talk about it.
Well, this one was really cool. So just this week, it was announced that the G.I. Joe and Transformers kind of animated Energon universe is going to be a cartoon from the same studio that's doing Invincible. Kirkman and those guys are all going to be involved in it. And I think they even announced Amazon Prime. I'm not positive about that. I could be lying about that part, but I do know that it's going to be like in the same kind of vein, like an adult animated series based on a comic that is currently in stores. I'm really excited about this. I think this is an awesome idea. It's obvious, when you see it. There's, I think, like 17 different versions of Transformers out there right now. So this makes sense.
It's gonna feel really good to be Robert Kirkman some days. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy's had a huge amount of success. Walking Dead, obviously, cultural phenomenon. Invincible, done incredibly, incredibly well. But he came up with his crew, his company came up with an idea for Transformers that got everybody to care about it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Articles from last week. Let me just say, Megan, time is a flat circle and it doesn't mean anything to me. So you can say last week or last month. It's all the same to me. I'm a goldfish. And they were shopping for a network. Yeah. So yeah, it's still really, really exciting.
I want to, before we go too far and it gets buried too deep into our chat here, I want to say right here, we have a headline that I didn't even realize we were going to report on, which is our very own Tommy Donovan got a job at a new shop and is going to get starting weekly comics next week.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
Excellent. Congratulations, Tommy. All right. Our next one, actually, Jeremy wanted to make sure that we knew about. So let's pull it up because we already have a slide.
Something is oh yeah, from Blumhouse. Yeah. So Blumhouse are the guys that are behind like all the best horror movies of the last 20 years. They're independent, truly independent filmmakers and doing Something is Killing the Children. I didn't see that. It's animated. Is that what I just saw?
That's
animated
that's
teaser trailer.
Says. Yeah.
See, I didn't catch that. I only saw that there was going to be a Something is Killing the Children from Blumhouse. And so there you go. So Something is Killing the Children animated from Blumhouse Studios.
This is why you and I are really bad at this.
Yeah, we're not great at news.
We're not really up on the like media news. Like I don't, unless it happened in comic
dude,
shop.
To be fair, like saving comics takes a lot of time. I don't know if these people realize how much time. I have 5 different capes that I have to press and clean daily. Right. And like that's a lot of work. So
Tommy says there was a series and a movie. And
okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. There you go. Well, obviously we just read the headlines.
We're not saving the news.
Exactly. I like this. Adult animation is killing it. But,
Megan. Megan. See, there's that the dad joke Megan. That's what we call her.
Okay, let's get off this slide because we don't.
Shall we? Oh my gosh, this has been horrific. All right, let's dig into the meat of this one. And I tell you right now, I know you say this every week. I don't know how we're going to fill an hour, but I think we can because we have some talking to people we're going to bring up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about the things that made us really excited, one of the things that I talked about coming out of New York Comic Con was that I met with our guest this week, and he told us that the stores that he looked up, this was something that he and I have been working on together, trying to figure out how we could pull together like a health of the direct market. He pulled together a deck, a report of the stores that he felt confident that he could report on, and said that comics retailers based on this are 18% up. That was later reported on as it's coming from you, which was not from you. It was actually from Managed Comics. They also said you had 100 users. Not true.
How angry was I?
You were very angry, actually. We're very, very grumpy. And I'm pretty sure that, never mind. We won't get into what you said. But you have 336 stores.
341 stores today. 341 stores today. Sorry, we're just growing a little bit.
I'm so sorry. I appreciate you helping me out with that. This was actually provided by our guest this week, Comic Shop Assistant. Somebody you may not have never met, Brian. This is somebody I'm really happy to introduce.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting.
Wonderful. Mr. Django Boren. There he is. Did we both push that button? I appreciate that. All right, good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about you.
Yeah, I've heard about you too. You seem like a fine fella.
I'm here to talk about shaving comics. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Good.
Yeah, you're the only one who's actually good at shaving. We just let
it all grow, huh?
Adam, I wouldn't call that facial hair good at shaving. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty good. All right, I like that one. So those of you in the audience who don't know our little back and forth here, Managed Comics is not a POS system. It is a piece of software that sits on top of POS systems and allows comic shops to work with them. Comic Shop Assistant is a POS system, and it is run by Django and his partner Jeff Figley, who own a Comics Place. Comics Place. Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, probably under siege at the moment. And these two, strangely enough, you would think they're competitors, but no, they seem to be the best friends. They have their own podcast together. They spend most of their time arguing over who's going to buy whom. because it seems everybody thinks at some point they're going to merge. But I'm so happy to have you both on our show. Their podcast, the Data Bros. Data Bros.
Data Bros.
Their show is, if possible, nerdier than this one. So you should go and have a listen, because it is a good time, and they have really much funnier commercials. So there you go. That's
very serious commercials.
Very, very serious commercials. Django, let's talk about the report that we're about to look at.
Yeah.
How did it come together? And actually, before we get into that, I want to hear from both of you. This is something that we have really struggled with since Diamond stopped reporting their sell-in numbers, right? So the numbers that they were giving over to publishers. There's a lot of controversy about whether or not the data that was extracted from them was actual data or extrapolated data. But for the longest time, we at least had that touchstone. That touchstone went away when Diamond stopped putting things out, and eventually the disruption happened in distribution. That meant that they no longer had access to everyone's data, so they stopped reporting. We have since, the three of us have really worked through Matthias. I really wish that were true, but I'm not 100% certain either way if it was extrapolated or not. I'll be honest. I've talked to Milton, I've talked to JJ, I've talked to Diamond. I still don't know 100%. They all have very clear beliefs about it. But anyway, all of this to say, we have all been trying very hard to put together some sort of monthly list, some sort of a report that actually comes from real data. Comic Hub, I was able to put together a deal before I left Comic Hub where they would put that data into ICV2, and that is it's a very small cohort that it reports that data, and they don't really have any hard numbers to it. So can you two talk about, either one of you take the lead on this, why is it such a challenge knowing that you have these databases? Why is it such a challenge to be able to say, our retailers ordered this, they sold this, there's this many on the shelves, customers order these? Talk about why those are so challenging, such a challenging hurdle to jump.
I mean, I think it's part of it is that retailers are chaotic. Like, we don't all do things the same way. We don't all ingest data at the same time. Some people track things very closely on their cash registers, and some people don't. Like the bottom line is, figuring out how to trust the incoming data is kind of a magic trick. And like I'm assuming for Brian, like Shopify is part of a hurdle for you to extract stuff out of.
Yep. And
Shopify is also not necessarily made to handle the number of SKUs that comics get. So I'll bet that there's a challenge there. And for us, just figuring out like a way to make sure that the sale of this widget is the same as a sale of that widget from another store, making sure that connective tissue is accurate and true has been a little bit tricky. And then also in our case, we have an agreement with our users that we don't share any non-anonymized data. So nothing can be traced back to a store, and sort of taking data from a whole bunch of stores and making that information make sense, and making it answer the question that's being asked in a true manner is tricky. We were a week and a half late getting you this report a little while ago because we finished it and then realized that numbers are weird, man. Percentages are weird. Yeah. And we had to kind of recalculate all these things that we had started on kind of a bad concept. So,
and on top of all that, we also have to take into account that like we're all growing rapidly. And so if you say things are up 40% year over year, and yet you grew by 60%, are they actually down by 20%? So we take all that stuff into account with our calculations that we're making so that we're giving you a true apples to apples comparison. But building off of what you said, like, first of all, there's one piece of it, which is just like Batman 161 cover A has to be consistent across every single system. And that's one of the big reasons where we've dangled Comet ahead of the publishers, is like, we can't right now say Batman 161 is the same between Lunar, Diamond UK, and Universal, because it has 3 different SKUs. We've kind of solved that with a unified ID, but it's very, very easy for a Shopify store to say, I don't want to use that ID. I want to use my own ID. And then suddenly we've lost that thing. By the way, they've now broken everything about Managed Comics, and why they did it, I have no idea. And yet every month I still face this challenge with people like, well, yeah, of course your products are broken because you, anyway. So yeah, like, I always joke, we have 340, whatever I just said, customer stores, and yet I bet you they use the system 525 different ways. Like,
Yeah,
even amongst the individual stores, some of them will use it differently depending on who is at the till. It's crazy. It's crazy making.
and
It's
I can say that,
madness.
having worked now with the two of you and also worked on Comic Hub, I will say that one of the biggest challenges is all of those stores are so unique, and they who's to say that uniqueness is not why they work, right? It's to
100%.
say that the reason that we're about to show that direct market comic shops are killing the rest of the retail market is not because of that. It's an incredibly complex thing, because each one of them is unique to it's like a thumbprint of their community and their ownership and the staff and everybody, and they all have different needs, and they all come up with different could be things that are could be innovations, but also could be the thing that breaks it, right? And you as a developer have to listen to those notes and say, okay, is this something that we can do, or is this something that breaks the whole system?
And it's a feature, not a bug, right? Like all those differences between the comic stores. It's not, we're all doing exactly what we found our market needs.
Yep.
But some of that is
100%.
shooting from the hip a little more than helpful for gleaning data from them.
There's a couple of comments I wanted to bring up here really quickly. One from Leonard, who talked about back issues being a factor, and they are going to be a factor later on in the we actually had to do some condensing even of Django's numbers, because one store decides that their department is called back issue, and some of them are called back issues, and some of them are called deep stock, and some of them are called forward stock, and they all have different, you have to do a little bit of finagling. But this one right here, I think, is really the one that is notable. We're going to do some reporting on something that Circana brought up at the Comics Pro meeting last week. And Circana BookScan came about because book market stores all decided to consolidate around one way of selling things, and they were only charged for the items that they sold, which meant they had to sell them in exactly the same way. So when you see BookScan numbers, they know it's true, because that's the only way that the retailer pays, and then the publisher gets paid. None of that is true inside of comics. Comic shops, they buy the product, they own the product. It's on them to sell it, and they can sell it any way they want to. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, as a result, you have this team at Circana BookScan who does nothing but even take that data that's still pretty dirty, still pretty difficult to deal with, and all they do is refine it. And the reason they do that is because they get paid. I think the last time I heard a license number, it was something like 18 grand a year to access those numbers. So until we can figure out a way to charge everybody 18, or find anybody who's willing to pay 18 grand a year for this data, we're going to have a hard time kind of cleaning that up.
I'd be happy with one. I don't need a bunch of people paying 18 grand a year.
Who's paying that 18 grand?
Generally speaking, it's larger brands. So it'll be like Circana's clients are huge marketers, right? They're big manufacturers. They're big advertisers. They're big people who sell advertising. Okay. It's the people who are dealing in tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year that are paying for that, instead of, you know, the average comic shop is maybe making, I mean, a good one these days, making what, 3 to 5 million a year, probably. I mean, that's
probably pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the idea that those comic shops would be able to afford that is, you know, it's not impossible, but it'd be difficult.
Maybe 1,000 of them at $18 a month, $18 a year, right?
Well, I mean, you know, sure. If we get 1,000 retailers to agree to anything, you let me know.
Oh my God, it's the dream of 1,000 cats. I'm shocked that I have 340 something.
Yeah.
This actually, Leonard brings up a very interesting piece about how Wizard Magazine handled hot books. A lot of this was based on reporting by stores. It was a council of stores that would report. And yeah, even then there was a whole lot of allegations, whether they're true or not. I don't want to get into it, but allegations of them saying this book is hot because our advertiser says it's hot.
Right.
Right. So it's a really difficult thing. When you look at New York Times, the New York Times bestseller list is not a hard sales data item, right? It's not like this one sold better than this one, so therefore it made the New York Times bestseller list. It is editorially controlled. So the editors can decide this one belongs on the list, whether or not it's sold better than the ones that are not on the list. Did you not know that, Brian?
No, I did not know that. No.
Yeah. There's this story, and I'm going to butcher it because I wasn't prepared to tell this story, but there's a story about, I want to say, it was whenever the sound scan numbers first started in music. It used to be that the music sales numbers were reported editorially as well. And then SoundScan came in and started refining that data. And what ended up happening, I want to say it was Def Leppard that was knocked off the list by who was, I'm going to butcher this story. But it was I'll remember it later. Anyway, it was one of those moments where real data changed the life of this small band that we now know as everybody had that album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look it up next time one of you is talking a little bit. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about what brought this on. I think because what part of it we talked about Circana being this. No, it was not Alice in Chains. I'll remember it. I promise. Okay. Circana is the group that we just talked about. They do amazing work. I don't want to in any way disparage the work they're doing by saying that it's not. They take all of this data and do an incredibly difficult job with it. They have some fantastic people working for them, and they were kind enough to let us report on this data as well. I did check with them, I promise. So anytime it says confidential, they gave us the clearance. Okay, good. This is the list of people they get their data from. As you can see, these are massive, massive companies, and they are able to take that data and refine it down to something that's usable for these marketers, these brand people, these advertisers. What they reported using this data was that comics and graphic novels are holding. They're holding fast. They're doing well, but you know, we had a huge spike in COVID. I mean, we're still ahead of where we were before COVID started, which is great. It's great to hear, right? And that is what comics looks like all over the world right this second. If you take in everywhere that's selling comics, which these days seems to be every retail outlet, that's what we're seeing. We're also seeing that print book sales reach the same volume and are maintaining a steady performance. They're really not really changing all that much. We're putting the print out. It's doing well, even removing digital and all the other places that comics are sold. This print volume is doing very, very, very well. So what does that mean for us? Well, this came from your data, Django. So tell me about how you found tell me about the group of stores that we're reporting on, why we're reporting on them, and how many of them, who are they?
Yeah. So right now, Comic Shop Assistant has just over 100 users. And when you had asked us for a year-over-year comparison, Adam, we realized that what we had to do is find stores that were consistent from 1 year ago to this year. So this is 39 stores that were using Comic Shop Assistant a year ago and are still using Comic Shop Assistant. So what we did is we went into each of those stores, pulled reports, anonymized them all and then came up with these numbers that are representing their growth. I almost said growth or contraction, but it's pretty much just growth over the last year.
Did you see any stores in that? Yeah, I'm sorry. What that number is 39. Did you see any of
39.
the 39 that did not see growth? Because I have talked to a couple of retailers who are like, I'm not seeing it.
We're not inspecting the data on a one at a time level.
Okay.
We're anonymizing and combining it before it even gets to us. Right. So I couldn't tell you.
Well, that's still,
yeah.
I mean, what that says is that if any of those stores that I'm talking about aren't seeing growth, if they're seeing a 0, then somebody else is seeing, 58, in order to bring that back up. That's incredible.
Well, and there are some interesting numbers in here that we'll see on one of these other slides, but so revenue's up 18.7%. That's awesome. This includes comic stores and hybrid stores, right? So if somebody had huge trading card numbers, that could impact their total revenue numbers. So this is stores. We didn't differentiate between comics only and hybrid stores. Right.
One of the things when people talk about this, anytime we talk about growth, there's a question of, are we seeing actual growth? Are we seeing new people come in? Or are the people that are coming in just paying more because the cover prices are up? So talk about this, those two numbers there on the right and what those mean.
Yeah. So transactions is the number of raw transactions that stores have had last year versus this year. And this is, it's up. There's 15% more people in the store, which is awesome. If I had to guess, I would say thanks DC for the absolute Batman.
Hearing that a lot.
I
tried to get a number, and hopefully maybe by next week I'll get a number. Let me check my texts. No, we had that. There was a number apparently that was at SDCC, but I was trying to get a number that was announceable. But what's it, like 9 printings of Absolute Batman #1 at this point? A massive number of printings.
I think that's right? That sounds right. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. And I feel like they've said more than once, okay, we're going to do one more for you guys. Okay, we're going to do one more for you guys. And I had somebody in the store yesterday looking for issues 1, 2, and 3, any printing.
Incredible.
And then Absolute Batman #1 did the Batman Day thing, which was bundled for $8. And I've got tons of those, and they're selling out.
They're selling through, yeah. And then the average transaction size there, that's a metric that I like to look at in our store, and just keep track of it, because if you can get somebody to throw on one more comic on every transaction in a day, you've just made a lot more money. So seeing that going up as well, more transactions and more money coming in per transaction, that's all pretty positive. And
yeah, I mean, that's just it. You can't, there's no way to poo-poo this number, right? Yeah. It's not, the cover prices are going up, I'm just spending more. It's not that. It's that we're seeing new faces and they are spending money in the shops.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it, but also this isn't just comic books, right? This is also trade paperbacks. This is also toys. This is everything in a store. Average transaction size is going up. I think if you were to look over all of the stores that we reported on, comics are probably in the top 3 categories of sales, but not even necessarily the top 1 category. In our store, pretty sure books are the first category and comics are the second category, so you can't really put it all on cover price.
Let's talk about some of the more details. We're going to dig into some of those departments there. These are some of the hard numbers of that cohort that you talked about. And so is this total net revenue? This is $2 million. That's of all 39 stores. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's for September. Okay. September 2024 and September 2025. Yeah.
Okay, so that times 12 divided by 36 looks like what we're median stores getting. And 35K, 36K per store in that month. That's a solid business that's running, right?
Yeah.
44,000 transactions. That's the one that took me, like, I'm trying to process what 44,000 transactions in the average store looks like. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a moment since I worked a register, but I'm having a hard time remembering a Z read that would be like, 1,000 transactions a day. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's well, no, that would be divided by 36, is that right? Or 39?
31 days in a month. So it's 1,000.
Divided by 39 stores.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Oh, well, this is total transaction. You're right.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's better. Yeah. Okay.
30,
like 100
30
transactions
transactions a day.
Yeah, we'll burst to 100 or 150 in our store on a Wednesday or Saturday.
But this number right here at the bottom, this is the one that I think most of us should take away. Like, you could build a business model around that many transactions in a store at a $54 weekly, right? Transaction. Jeremy's saying he gets 40 transactions a day. I believe that. It's a solid number. But even at let's say it's 54K as your average transactions. I mean, 2K a day. That's a real business. That's a solid business model.
Yeah, 63,000 a month.
This actually leads me to a question that I want to give everybody in the audience, and you two specifically. Something I've been thinking about a lot is, how do we encourage new stores to open? When you're looking at this is something you can raise a family on. This is something you can build a legacy on, right? If we can hold this, if this dogman generation that we keep talking about is going to be continually bringing $54 transactions at 40 a day, if that's a real business that, you might actually get to retire one day, boys. Congratulations.
Sure, Adam.
It's interesting you asking me that question, Adam. So as a guy that's trying literally to do that and has been for what's this? This is 10 months now.
Yeah.
Like supporting those stores by maybe the largest retailer organization, allowing them support would be a way to start that. I don't know.
We talked about this last time, and the more I think about it, the more I'm inclined to agree with you. Comics Pro, Universal, these online stores, they are where the brick and mortar stores of tomorrow are starting right now.
Yeah.
If you're not supporting them, you are limiting our growth.
And I say that if you are not starting your brick and mortar store online first, to get all the basic bits down, including building an audience before you open your doors, you're not going to survive. Not in 2025. You could have survived in 2000, but with rents the way they are, with staff costs the way they are, with just like the amount of money I spend on just subscriptions to things every month, you can't sustain it with on day one having nothing, having no people coming in.
I mean, this is not a business for someone to come in with like business acumen and a business plan and just sit down and open a comic store, right?
No.
Like, there's a lot of really squishy skills and interests that you need, and you need sort of the perfect storm to successfully open a store or a huge money runway, right? Like, this is the weirdest business, one of the hardest businesses I've ever encountered. And I used to sell whoopee cushions for a living. This is harder than that.
But at the same time, this is a great point. The problem is how many shop owners are still hobbyists who don't always see profit because they don't know a lot of the basics on how to make that income profitable. Mm-hmm. And that's where a place like Comics Pro can come in and actually help you understand what profit means, how to, like, Django, you and I have, and Adam too, we've gone into enough stores that you can see there are 3 different types of shop owners. There's a business person who understands that these are widgets and I have to sell X many of widgets to pay for my overhead and pay for my people.
Yeah.
There are dragons who just have a hoard and do not want you. They're actually resentful you're in their store. And every piece of their hoard you take out of it is taking a piece of their soul.
If you have the word dragon in the name of your shop, he's not necessarily talking about you. He might be, but he's not necessarily talking about you, Jen Haynes. Not
Jen, you are definitely the first and not the second. 100%. And then the third person is like the hobbyist who is way in over their head with business, but
Right.
like may make it or may not, right?
Yeah.
Because they really need to at some point get the fact that this is a widget and this isn't the precious Batman #1.
One of my favorite conversations to have when we're showing off Comic Shop Assistant is to have somebody say, oh yeah, we're opening a store, because that changes the way that we approach our demo for them. And
Right.
Jeff gets really excited to ask them, like he gives them his cell phone number and he asks them to get a hold of him. And, you know, like, please let me give you some of the wisdom that I've earned by messing things up every week for 10 years in a new and fascinating way. And then I just send them a book.
That's what I do too. Here's a
But Jeff's
book.
really nice about it. Yeah,
read motherfucker. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Let's dig in. Yes, we all should be building more assets to open more of these stores, and I think it's the sort of mentoring is absolutely necessary. But we do need to be building more tools and allowing in those that are starting from zero to build into what we need in these communities, right?
Yeah. This is exactly it.
Yeah,
they die because they don't understand they'd actually have to run a business.
Yeah.
And knowing what those details of how to run that business, man, that's just, it's either hard won or it's, you know, it is, you heard it and you listened. And those two things are both are very difficult.
One of the hardest things I've had to get across to my customers, because my former partner, Pete, was a little more lenient on, you know, letting people go for a month or two. And I'm very like 30 days, at 30 days, I'm going to start nagging you. At 60 days, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah.
And my point to them is like, I'm giving you an interest-free loan. I've already paid for this stock long ago. At this point, you are now just, it's an interest-free loan and I need to recoup my investment on that. And changing that kind of conversation, it was a little hard. We lost a couple of people, but at the same time, it's like, this is a business. This is not my hobby that I'm sitting here, you know, hoping that my wife won't find out about it. And God, if she ever does, guys, I am screwed.
Adam, can we do
what I do down here in the basement? Oh my God.
Can we do an episode of bad advice from good retailers at some point?
Oh, that would be good. That'd be really, really good. I have a little list of quotes that I've used over the years. Yeah,
I don't need an accountant to be on many comic shops.
Oh my God, you need an accountant, please, please, God. That was the mistake I made. I'll be honest. I, you know, when at the end I had to get out of comics retail because I didn't have somebody whose sole job was looking at the books. I kept saying, I'll do it until I need somebody to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to do it long before I did. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I had an accountant on day one, and I'm so glad we did, because because I was running an existing business where I didn't have an accountant for 5 years and found out how hard that was.
Bad advice from good retailers.
With Earth 519, I 100% had to have an accountant from day one, because I wasn't going to be able to do all that stuff and run another business at the same time.
Let's talk about some of the details else you saw. We talked about categories. This is a big category breakdown. We have a slide. I think it's about games. It's going to come up next, but let's talk just about how the stores brought this money in during the month of September. And once again, this is a September 2025 versus September 2024, right? These are not like typically September is not a huge month, but it's a good month. As we talked about, fall is a really good time for launches. Spring is also a really good time for launches. So, this is a solid month in the year. This would look different if we did October, and maybe we'll come back and do October.
We'll get October too.
Yeah. Well, we'll try not to do quite such a deep dive, but we do a regular one of these. I think that would be really wonderful.
Oh, I mean, I'll get you October. You can do whatever you want with it.
I like it. Look at this right here. 27% up. Single issue sales. This is single issue comics. This is the monthly comics. If you call them floppies, there are people on here who will cut you. That's what this number is. 27% up. Tommy, go do the good work, buddy. We'll be recorded and you can come back and give us comments later.
We got to get him a cape.
I know. No
saving comics one store at a time.
Books, as you mentioned, right? These are graphic novels. These are collections. These are original graphic novels. Up solid 17%, 16.6. Games pretty flat. Toys and models also up 13%. That's nothing to sneeze at. Back issues, it took us a minute to get this back issue number because it's just so flat. Like it is really almost impossible to know exactly how far up and down it was because there were several different category labels, so we had to like pull them together. But still, completely flat. For the most profitable part of any comic shop is the back issue bin, right? I think that says a lot for the profit that's going on in these stores. So not only are they seeing the high turn, high revenue pieces of books and graphic novels, but the high profit of back issues staying flat. That's enormous, right?
Well, and like, not to cast aspersions on anyone in this data, but if I were to guess industry wide, if these back issue numbers hold true for point of sale data, I would guess that more back issues don't get rung through the register than any other category. Right. So I would guess that there may be some growth there.
I am sure that every one of your users is reporting every dollar that they sell.
Not them.
Yeah.
Other
stores.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I get you. Well, Nick, I am so glad you asked this question because our next slide, I should have left that up so people could read it. All right, there you go. All right. This next slide is getting into some of the gaming details.
Wow.
Look at the cards. Look at the cards. 64% up. What is this from? What were the release
products if you can get it? It's Magic and Pokemon probably.
Yeah.
Right?
And they were huge,
and allocated into the dirt. The way those allocations work, and Adam, as a marketing guy, plug your ears. The way those allocations work is that we can order whatever we want, but we may or may not get it. And in the past, we've ordered a bunch of boxes of Pokemon. On one of these sets, we ordered cases of Pokemon. And because we had never ordered cases before, they didn't count our boxes towards our case numbers, and we didn't get any of the cases or the boxes. So it's been crazy because there's been a shortage. And so we would bring in, like, if we looked at profits on this, I'll bet profits are up even more than 64% because they went for so much more over MSRP for the last year.
Yeah, I'm certain of that. I know miniatures. Sorry, go ahead.
I was shocked, by the way, people that complain about the price of a comic book. I went to buy a pack of the Spider-Man Magic cards because I was just like, hey, those look cool. I'll buy a pack. And they were 10 Canadian dollars. And I was like, no.
That's like what, a buck and a half in Freedom money? Is that what that is?
It's like $7.50 Freedom units. But still, I mean, that's significantly more than a comic for 8 cards, I think it is. 8 cards. So it's like 8/10 of a page of a comic book. Don't tell me
if you'll buy your nephew a greeting card for $5.
Who buys greeting cards? Django?
Good luck for
That's
that.
a really good question.
Exactly.
But the people who do don't complain about the price.
Well,
exactly.
I talked to a retailer, a chain here on the East Coast that just put in Games Workshop, and he said that was a huge driver for them this fall. Was they finally were able to start carrying that, and it's just been a huge profit center for them. So I'm not surprised to see this either. It's the miniatures and games. Again, I think all of this goes back to we really want to be in front of each other. Right. The three of us know each other so well. And yet the minute we're anywhere close, we want to go hang out. Yeah. We want to be in a bar or in a comic shop or something. Like we desperately want this, person to person connection. And this kind of product brings that. Right. And then the local comic shop brings that. It's why it's so important.
Totally.
Yeah.
Are board games in there anywhere?
I think they were on the previous slide, weren't they?
Did we have them? I don't think so.
Games.
Oh, games.
But I thought this games. But this next one, doesn't that split down games?
No, this one I think is this we just pulled this out. This was a separate part of the same list.
I see.
We're kind of working with the old Moby categories by default, which were based on the diamond categories, which don't get super intricate with game subcategorization.
Right.
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 Yeah.
100%. Also, it should be noted, the collectible card games, you never have enough, right? No matter how many you bought in the past, you still need more.
Yeah.
Once you buy a board game, you can play that for the rest of your life. It could be your only board game.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could be like me and just play backgammon and nobody will play with me. If you like to play backgammon and you're anywhere close in Long Island, let's get together. Let's play. I'd love to. That's
Call this lonely man.
I know.
Well, and board games are huge. Like they take up so much physical space. Like it's shocking how much physical space they take up compared to trading cards, which are a pack that is $10 Canadian. God. I'm in the wrong.
That was it. That was what we were able to pull out at this. I think all of it just says that we're in a good spot, boys. I mean, life, the working in a comic shop right now has got to be as exciting, if not, as difficult as ever.
No, yeah.
But let's talk about that. Like, which is harder, success or failure?
You didn't say you were going to ask that question.
What?
Oh, we have extra time. We're vamping now.
It's
my brain just
kind of
broke.
It's a double-edged sword, right? Like with success over a long enough term, you start getting complacent and you stop inventing.
Yeah.
And you kind of open the cracks in your process or your market for competition to come in and do things different or better. And with failure, you're scrambling to make the bills and stuff. So, but that's kind of when all the invention happens for me.
Yeah.
Like we've had such a lucky year in our comic store that like I haven't been super hands-on in it. And I go in there and I'm like, oh, we could do this and this and this and this. And then I go home and work on Comic Shop Assistant instead. And if the comic shop was struggling, I'd be down there, after dinner working on that. So
Right.
They're none of it's easy, Adam. This is comics. You see how many SKUs we get?
There's so many SKUs, dude. So many SKUs.
I just just yesterday I interviewed David Hyde from Superfan Productions or Superfan Promotions, I think is what they're called. He's a publicist and works with comics. He's a publicist, so he works with comics companies. And afterwards, after we turned off the mic, he was like, "How many hours a day are you working?" And I'm like, "You don't want to know, man." It's
Same.
My kids, the reason my kid sees me is because I work from home. That's it. That's 100% it. But that's just it. Now is a time when it's harvest time, right? You got to get out there in the fields. Otherwise the fields they're going to rot.
I'm just looking forward to next year when all the news reports are that the sky is falling because we haven't had 18% growth year over year because we're the glow is falling off of Absolute and whatever's happening with the Ultimate Universe is not launching huge or whatever. Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've only seen a 5% growth. Like, whoa, it's a terrible.
It's the end of the world.
Wait, that's 23% over 2 years. Are we sure we're gonna freak out?
Well, so talk to me about what could kill it. Right now we're in a good place. DC is doing a good job. Marvel though seems to be struggling to figure out what their next play is. Those two really do decide in many ways success or failure for many, if not most, comic shops.
70% of the overall market, right? Like if you lose either one of those guys, it's kind of a disaster for everybody.
Yeah. Yes, right. Comics will be dying at some point. There's no question. The only guarantee is at some point comics will be dying again. It's funny before we started having this firm data, I was getting so many of these reports, and I would have panels or meetings with people who don't work with comic shops on a day-to-day basis, and they would say, "Well, the comic shops are struggling." I'm like, "No, not right now. They're
not this year. No. Last year they were. Yes, not this year.
That's true." But let's talk about what could cause the struggle at this point. So long as the product is good, what are the pieces that could be? I mean, because it's such a squishy thing, right?
That right there terrifies the crap out of me.
WB Discovery,
Warner Brothers Discovery being sold over and over and over again. all it's going to take is for the wrong company to get them and say, why are we doing this? And then they license this out to, Dynamite or Todd McFarlane. And now there's not a DC Comics coming from Warner Brothers anymore. 30% of the market disappears overnight. And there's going to be a couple months where there's going to be nothing. That's scary. As a store, that would be terrifying.
If it bleeds, it leads. I definitely don't want to not have the engagement of saying the sky is going to fall if that happens. However, I'm in year, I don't know. Let's see. I got started 30 years ago. And I say, like, I don't know how many times Warner Brothers, that WB, has been sold, and how many regime changes there have been in that time. And every time it happens, someone says, well, they're going to look and they're going to say, we're not making any money here, and they're going to license it out. And it has still never happened. I'm not saying it'll never happen. I'm just saying I'm getting to the point where if you tell me that there's going to be a giant earthquake that swallows us whole, and there hasn't been a giant earthquake that swallows us whole, eventually I'm going to go, well, okay.
Eventually
sure.
You got to start worrying about Yellowstone instead.
It doesn't mean the earthquake's not going to. This one, on the other hand, does not scare me in the least. Same day digital, you could do that tomorrow, and it would not make a lick of difference to comic stores. So. Honestly, it's a different market. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I think the comic retailers and comic fans are slow to react to a lot of things. Right. We have this fierce loyalty to our shops or to comics in general.
Yeah.
And I think that publishers and distributors in general are a little bit faster to react. Right. Mm-hmm. Because they're run on the whole a little more like a business.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think if we were to see a huge dip in Marvel or DC, then we could end up with comic stores struggling for a little while, but the ship kind of riding behind the scenes, before everything totally fell apart. I'm also a terminal optimist, so take that for what it's worth.
Also, there are 3 people here who can't afford for comics to fail. We will have nothing to do.
Good point.
We'll literally become alcoholics in a park.
So I'm just going to pivot to auto parts. That's the only other thing that's this complex.
One-man puppet show. That's what I'm doing. I've already got it planned out.
I don't know. I think I'm with you, Brian. I think the alcoholism in the park is my new favorite retirement plan if all this goes to shit.
It's cheap.
You know what? One of the things you could do right now to keep all that from happening, as Nikki pointed out, is if you came in and you hit thumbs up and you hit the subscribe button and the alert button, that would save comics right there. You would be saving comics just by doing that, because it means we get an opportunity to talk about this and hopefully bring data and bring tools and bring the knowledge that will hopefully make Comic Shop that much stronger, because that is at the end of the day our true goal. Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming in on the end of this. I want to say thank you to everybody here who's in the chat. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to scroll a little bit. Will you two talk about something? Because it's really bothering me that I can't.
100%. So I'm going to pull this one up. I hate to utterly disagree, but I spend lots personally on Marvel each month, as do many of my customers. So let me tell you why I don't think that digital is the way. Because my kids have grown up in an entirely digital world where they can get anything, anytime, at the touch of a button. And yet they both have a larger physical comic collection than I do right now. They both love physical albums. They both love physical tactile things. So they will like thumb through something digitally, but they will read it when it's physical. It's a very, very different thing. And when you have access to everything, you have a desire to read none of it. Yep. So that it's like curation, right? It's the ultimate curation thing. So I don't think physical stuff will ever go away, because we are creating an entire new generation has grown up on Dogman physically, who's grown up on comics are a physical thing that I tactilely interact with. And that generation is hitting their 20s, and they're hitting their spending sprees and they're the ones that are getting into absolute. They're the ones that are getting into ultimates, and Marvel's taking away ultimates. Good job, Marvel. Great job. Great work.
Listen,
Replace that with nothing. Perfect.
I have faith that they have something. They're not going to.
I know.
Yeah, it can't be nothing.
Another terminal optimist, I see.
I wanted to bring up. Thank you for doing that little diatribe, because it allowed me to look up the story I was trying to remember, which was the band that we now know to be one of the all-time favorites, the one that everybody had, that nobody knew that everybody had until the SoundScan numbers came in and told us actual data as opposed to the editorialized data of Billboard, was Nirvana.
I was just going to say Smells Like Teen Spirit, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Smells Like Teen Spirit was the thing that was being sold that nobody knew was the underground hit, and was the thing that was driving music stores at the time.
Yeah.
I should have known that, because my wife and I, when we got married, we merged our CD collections. If anybody remembers CDs, they were these little silver things, and they had. So when we merged our CD collections, she brought in like Depeche Mode and I don't know, all that stuff, the Dead Kennedys and all that. And I brought in, Aerosmith, Soundgarden, everything grunge and heavy metal. Yeah. And the one place where we intersected was we both had copies of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and we both had copies of not Alice in Chains, but there was another album that was like the whole Nirvana catalog intersected, and that was it. That was the only place where our musical tastes completely intersected. And it's 24 years, fellas, so that shows you that even with disparate musical interests, you can still survive a marriage of 24 years. As long as she doesn't find out what I'm doing down here.
You're doing comics again? We talked about this.
You said you'd give them up for me.
Django, we're reaching our CTA portion of the show. How can people find you? Where can they? I loved that album, by the way.
That was another one that intersected. I couldn't remember the second one.
Yeah, all right. Where can people find Comic Shop Assistant? Where can they find the Comics Place?
Comic Shop Assistant is at comicshopassistant.com. I'm Django Boren everywhere. Comics Place is at the Comics Place. Believe it or not, with a name that on the nose, we're the only one I've been able to find. The Comics Place. We're in Bellingham, Washington, farthest northern store in the lower 48. And we used to have a hypnotist in the basement, but they went out of business, and I had to take that off our business cards. So
you're damn near
also
Canadian.
You moved.
Oh yeah, we're nearly Canadian.
Like literally an hour away from the Vancouver border. Like it was
Vancouver itself.
Yeah. Like literally an hour away.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I highly recommend everyone go to Bellingham. I'll share the Airbnb you need to stay in.
Okay.
And just go hang out with Django for a week. He'll open a store, and you'll get to, on your vacation, help him open a store. It'll be fun.
The best.
It'll be a good time.
That's what everybody does with their vacation.
What's new website? Who dis? Yeah, Managed Comics is live on the internet at managedcomics.com. And if you join our mailing list right now by getting on one of our wait lists, tomorrow you will see it when Oryx is unleashed upon the world, and you can sign up immediately. So that is happening tomorrow. Very exciting. Right. No, sorry, Thursday, because we never launch anything on a Wednesday, because that's a terrible idea. Thursday is when we'll be unleashing that on the world.
That reminds me, you and I still need to have a marketing conversation about Oryx too. We're gonna have
so many conversations.
Prana Bullet, once again, we do this every week. Actually, I want to use this opportunity, instead of giving you another, hey, don't forget the Prana Bullet, to say we did this thing. We're doing this thing. It's coming out in March. It's Comics the Magazine. It's you saw Joe in the pre-show banter. We're building a magazine about comics for comic shops everywhere. A couple of these got up onto eBay and are going for way more money than I think they should be. So it was surprising to me to see that number. So last night, deep in the just as I was heading to log off, I posted that, I tell you what, any retailer, I've got a case of these left. If you're a comics retailer, I want you to send us your address and such. Where should we send the PayPal invoice? To info@pranadm.com. We're going to make a list and send out packages of 5 copies each. I wish I could do more. I know you all want them for all of your subscribers. I wish I could do more, but all I'm going to charge you for is shipping. So if you're watching this and you're a comics retailer, I want to have you on board this ride. It's going to be quite the trip. So please drop us a line, and we'll get those together, because they should not be selling for as much as they are on eBay. But hey, if they keep doing that, go make that money, dude.
It's that ad. It's that ad for Managed Comics and Comic Shop Assistant.
It was that ad inside of our editorial that did it. Look at that beauty right there. Yeah,
handsome berobed men.
And then this one for the comic previews, which is never. I don't know. Is it a thing yet? Is it?
It is a thing. It is a thing. I'm just not ready to talk about it yet, but it is a thing. If people go to comicpreviews.com, they will actually see the thing.
It exists.
Yeah.
Well, while you're at it, go to comicsthemagazine.com and sign up on the waiting list. Get on that list, and you will get all of the information about Comics the Magazine. If you want to become a advertiser or you want to write for the magazine, you go to contact us, and you can choose which one of these things you want to do, and get that in.
That reminds me, go back a page. I'm going to give you a note we can shift later. It should be, instead of 14,000, it's 25,000 copies of ZCN we're selling here at the end.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, you want 25,000 comics fans to see your ad. Also check, we'll make sure you let us know, and we'll get Gabe to send you a rate card, because advertising is what makes this world go round. And I have another piece that we're going to talk about at some point on here about how advertising could fix all the problems that comics has right now.
Advertising can shave comics.
It could shave comics.
Hey, speaking of advertising, on AEW Wrestling the other night, there was an entire DC Comics banner all around the arena during the show. Like, it's so well done. Yeah, it was awesome.
You're watching this on the EXP. If you want advertising for that, you should also let us know. We can get your ads all over. Kyle, see, I mentioned it. And we want to make sure that you are, your brand gets in front of comics buyers, comics sellers, comics publishers, everybody involved in our world. It's going to be a good year. We're going to have something, right? And it will, yes, advertising will always have data problems. You're very, very true. That's part of why we're so determined to get this right. So I always use this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for hitting like, subscribe, hitting the alert button so that when this comes up, you see it. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or some other place that we're doing it, make sure that you mark this on your calendar, because we go live every 2:00 Eastern every Tuesday, even when we don't feel like it. And if you are buying comics, if you're going into your local comic shop, if you have a subscription that you pick up on a regular basis, if you're a seller of comics, if you're a retailer, if you're a distributor, if you're a publisher, I want to thank you once again this week for saving comics, because we just, like I said, it's this or drinking in the park. Oh, wait a minute. I could be drinking in the park.
You could do both.
Do this.
Nothing says you can't.
Namaste.